I feel like this is an excellent opportunity to regather, regroup, and really just celebrate this community that we are continuing to build here in North Carolina. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our very first speaker, Isaiah Hamilton.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Isaiah Hamilton, and I'm a Greenhouse Scholar for the class of 2024. To provide context for what I'm about to say, I figured I would share a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Elizabeth City, North Carolina, until I turned 16, which I then left home and attended North Carolina School of Science and Mathematics. I am now at Duke University studying dual majors in biology and global health with a minor in chemistry, all while on the medical track. I also serve as the Black Student Alliance president, secretary of the Alpha Alpha Chi chapter of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, and the president pro tempore of Duke Student Government, which is a funny way of saying I'm Senate president. It's a tongue twister. And outside of these leadership roles, I conduct research on comparative neuroanatomy of lemur species. I'm involved in a gun violence prevention study and founded my own startup named the Heart Project, which seeks to provide early exposure to healthcare opportunities for rural high school students via mentorship, programming, and volunteer work. Named after my mom's maiden name of Hart and her time spent as a nurse, I developed an early passion for serving my community. I have even been fortunate enough to have had another North Carolina Greenhouse Scholar, Raquel Brown, join our team. Additionally, wherever I am back home, I help work for my family dog breeding business. So yes, I'm a dog person. No, there's no such thing as too many puppies. And no, I cannot give you a free dog, but we can negotiate a little bit. I mentioned these feats not to brag or boast tonight, but really to remind myself just how far I've came personally. See, my parents got divorced when I was 7 years old. Life as I knew it had been shattered, and what remained were the pieces of a childhood that my mother had scraped together for us. She did her best, and I love her for it, but ultimately I had no choice but to mature at a young age. The void in my life that was the lack of a father figure was filled with the idea that my mother etched into my prepubescent mind. That idea was that I could do anything I wanted as long as I worked hard for it. I remember going over to my grandparents' house and working all day for them, from watering plants, wiping down tables, house work, vacuuming, to picking up the grass shreds and making trips to the overfilled river to the ditch, just to earn 20 bucks every once in a while. Then around the time of my 3rd grade year, I recall coming into class one day and seeing a flyer on my desk that read, Duke Tip, congratulations on being the top 25% of students in North Carolina. That was the first ever validation I had had, that my hard work was paying off, and I liked it. That day kickstarted the dream that I would then spend the next decade of my life fantasizing over, getting myself into Duke. Now I would be lying to you if I told you that I knew what I was doing back then, nor that I even felt confident enough to have made such an accomplishment. All I was 100% sure of was that this dream point ate at me more times than not. Over the years, I picked up sports, joined a few clubs, and did all the things I had been told to do. Since my mother worked in Virginia at the time, I even would walk over a mile to and from school on weekdays, then again the same day for sports practices. In early high school, I would meet with my principal one-on-one to discuss what courses I could do to further advance my studies. By the end of my sophomore year, I had completed my school for all of its most challenging and difficult courses and passed them with flying colors. I was oblivious to it at the time, but I was on the verge of a rather large inflection point in my life. Around that time is when I found out that I had been accepted to attend a public residential high school in Durham, as I had mentioned. I had applied because my mom told me it was Hogwarts, and what kid doesn't want to get a musical? So I packed my bags and I didn't look back. The next 2 years I still consider to this day to be the best years of my life. It was at the North Carolina School of Science and Math where I finally began to feel if my dream of Duke was attainable. I've been exposed to people from all different walks of life and cultural backgrounds to fields of study that I couldn't even fathom, to my first ever relationship, and just so many more memories that I cherish to this day. After 2 years of studying hard and applying myself to everything that I did, my dream became a reality and I was admitted into Duke. Finally, at the pinnacle of what I had dreamt to be my entire purpose in life, I was on top of the world. That was until March 2020, when the pandemic brought society to a standstill. Due to COVID-19, every single other scholarship I had applied to had canceled their scholarship class for the year, and I was stuck not knowing how I could afford this $80,000 dream of mine that I had just conjured. Then one day in isolation, my mom, who is now immunocompromised, sent me down to the local grocery store to pick up a few things. I was in the middle of bagging a single carrot for my mom's homemade chicken and noodles when I got a town where I called from an unknown Colorado area. I answered, and then I heard that I had come to Greenhouse Scholar. They made it possible for me to attend Duke. With my financial offer, I have also appreciated that Greenhouse's financial support is not given in a vacuum. There are tangible people that I have met who chose to sponsor me and invest in my dreams. They also paired me with a wonderful mentor who works at the school that Teddy attends and shall be left unnamed. I can honestly say that during the isolation period of the pandemic, it was the other scholars that I had just met virtually at our online symposium that year who gave me an inspiration coming into freshman year. I then left home once again, but this time for college. All the hard work I had done meant nothing anymore now that I had accomplished what I wanted. I saw a new purpose, a new meaning, a new source for all of my dreaming. I looked around at the upperclassmen on campus and never could bear the thought of holding a leadership position on campus. I believed that the pandemic still had a chokehold on me, and I was too shy to step back out into real life. Being in a place that was foreign to me, still in isolation, so everyone was in single dorms, all alone, I had nothing to do but be with my thoughts. That put me in a very low point I truly felt like I could not rebound from. This feeling lingered over my entire freshman year. It wasn't until I came to Colorado, in person, that following summer for my second annual symposium that the funk I was in subsided. It is impossible to articulate to you guys how quickly being around such an amazing group of people can ground you. That is exactly what happened to me. I knew once again that I had found community in my life, and sometimes that all that really matters is just simply knowing that you are not alone in the struggles that you face on a daily basis. Immediately after the symposium is when I felt inspired enough to begin the planning phases of my startup. That fall of my sophomore year is when I joined my fraternity. The very next semester, I was elected both president of Black Student Alliance and president pro tempore of Duke Student Government. Last summer, I was blessed to be able to travel to Costa Rica to study abroad and even had Greenhouse Flex funding to support me during my time there. I look back and can't help but think that my mom was ever so slightly wrong with her advice that she gave to me so long ago. It's not that we can do anything we want as long as we work hard for it, but it's that we can do anything we want as long as we work hard and are surrounded by a community of people that support us. Thank you guys for your time.